Now to finish, we are going to add materials to the scene, place a light and explain the rendering process. Go to Rendering and open Render Setup. Up to now, we've been working with Render Scanline. Now we are going to change this and use Mental Rat. Select it and close this window for now. Our character is grouped. Select it and add a material. Select one that's empty, the fourth, and go to Standard. See how more tabs have opened, and here's the Material tab for Mental Ray. Select the arch and Design material, and OK. If you open it, you see that this material is a kind of plastic, and if you select Arch and Design, you have some templates with various preset materials, like metal, water, plastic, ceramic. I'm going to select a simple matte finish and lower the glossiness to 0.1. And there we go. This is the material I'll use to render. You can try out different ones, different combinations of materials, until you get a result that you're happy with. I'll add this material, visualize, close this, and now add a material to our background. Let's create a new one. Go to Arch and Design and select again a matte finish. Remove the glossy, leave it at 0, and in color, give it a light blue color that contrasts with the gray character. So this color. Add the material and close. We'll finish the eyes for the character. Create a plane and make it black. Place this inside the head. Go to Create and create a plane. Do this from the front view, which is easier. Calculate the size approximately, something like this, and there you go. Place it around here and make sure it doesn't stick out anywhere. Perfect. Go back to the material editor and select the next material. Go to Arch and Design, select it again, and then select Matte Finish. Get rid of the glossiness and put it at 0.1. Set the color to black. Add a material, and there we go. We're going to add a simple light and we'll explain the rendering process. To add light, go to Create and you'll find them here in the third tab. Change to Standard. The basic element to start illuminating is to add a skylight, which is a kind of fill light. You can put this wherever you like. It gives us some kind of result, but it won't be our definite lighting. Let's reposition the camera and we'll go ahead for the first render to see how the skylight affects our character and scene. Okay, to render, we need to select the view we want to render. That's the first thing. Select the camera and use this option here, Render Setup. Or you can access it like we did before, which was Rendering, Render Setup. Mental Ray is activated, and I'll just show you a few basic settings for a quick render. This part here is just for rendering an image. This is for animation. If we activate the timeline, we leave it on single. Here we could do it by frame. The next thing we change is the resolution we want our render to have. If you change it, see how the camera changes. Select HDTV, and if you select 1020 by 1080, see how it changes. It's moved slightly though. Now we can reposition it. Finally, we'll go to this option, which is Render Outputs. Here in Files, we can select where we want the image to save to. Let's reposition the camera and then we can do a basic render to see how it looks. Go to Render Setup, make sure it's 1020 by 1080 and let's try it out. When rendering, you have various options as you see here. The precision of the image, more or less definition, the shadows, the quality of the shadows, glossy and refractions, reflections and refractions, final gather precision refers to the final lighting points. This is quite a complex system that we could leave in draft, and you can set the quality you're happy with. We only have skylight, we haven't applied any other light, so this is the result of the skylight, just a fill light as I said. Let's try now to add a light. Cancel and go to Create. Go to Photometric and select the Sky Portal. This creates a kind of screen of light. Create one from the top view. Make sure it's in place as it's on the floor right now. The portals show us an arrow which is the direction of the light. If you go to Modify, there are, as always, lots of settings, but we are just going to focus on Multiplier, which refers to the quantity. We usually use values between 0 and 1. And the shadows, if we wanted to deactivate them, we could use this option here. In advanced settings, there are some options that we are familiar with, like visible to renderer or invisible if you didn't want it to be seen, and that the light works as a skylight or it acts depending on the scene. In this case, we have a skylight. We have it set so it uses the skylight directly. We can do a test with what we have and see the result. Render. Here you can see how the floor is slightly more illuminated and the top part of the character and the sword as well. This is just a case of your personal taste. You can try out different combinations of light. You can even change the color and try cool colors with warmer tones. Let's see what this render looks like. So there it is. As you see, it's quite a good result. We just used a portal and a skylight, the fill light, and this would just be a render of what's known as the diffuse map. We wouldn't use this for a final illustration, so to render our final image, there are a few more complex ways in this tab here. Here in Render Elements, we can add different texture maps to our model. We could use shadows, reflection, refraction, auto-illumination. This map is the diffuse map. We can get maps in PNG format, then take them to Photoshop and reconstruct them. I recommend you try these out and experiment. If you just want a diffuse map, click here on Save Image to make a copy and save it in the same quality you used before. Okay, and with that, we've reached the end of the course. Thank you for joining me on this introduction to 3D Max Studio. I hope you enjoyed the course and I look forward to seeing your own versions of the character we created. Remember, you can upload your designs to the project section of the course. You can also leave some feedback or ask any questions you might have about anything explained in the lessons. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next TUSPAD course.